On this week's episode, Alex and Adam ring in the new year with discussion of an old game, Borderlands 3. They exchange New Year's resolutions and then evaluate what we missed and what's to come for PS5 in the new year. And be sure to stick around to the end to see how you can win a copy of Borderlands 3 for your PS5.
Happy New Year's, folks. Welcome to PlayPS5, the podcast. Tonight, we are breaking down Sony's New Year's resolutions, or what they should be. We want to talk about several games that are getting PS5 upgrades. We are giving away that 1 year PlayStation Plus membership. And believe it or not, we've got another giveaway too. Alex, do you have any recommendations for achieving those pesky New Year's resolutions for our listeners?
Yeah, man, you got to delete the Domino's app off of your phone. Delete the Domino's app. That's what I do. Adam, what you got any better tips for me?
I don't even know what resolution you're talking about. The one I was talking about, a very common resolution, is to read more. And I've got good news if you're a listener, because right now you can go on the Play PS5 YouTube channel, go to this episode, put on subtitles, boom! You're reading more in 2021, baby.
Do you remember when we used to write reviews, Adam?
I did. It was playpsvr.com, right?
Should we start doing that again?
Oh, that would be good. We did get some good sponsorships out of it, but we don't got time for that. PS5, there's too many games. To be able to accurately do that, you would almost need that to be your full-time job. So unfortunately,
I guess so.
I'm too busy out at the dumpsters behind Wendy's eating what I can get and test and see if my DualSense will work back there. The good news is that new year, new gamer juice. Here's the thing, Alex. I have never had a White Claw hard seltzer. Now, not only is it because I have genitals between my legs, well, I guess male genitals.
Everybody has that, Adam. Everybody.
Well, but now I'm about ready to get rid of those male genitals and give this a shot. I've just never tried it. I know it's a girl drink, but I'm going to give it a go.
White Claw all day. Just tear through it. It's water that gets you going.
Well, I got the black cherry flavor.
Oof.
It's initially has a decent taste, but then the aftertaste isn't. Aftertaste is kind of like tainted water, but that is why I brought two Gamer Juice. Juice Eye. Everyone knows I love Ale 8 and the classic ginger ale. Well, I found a cherry version, so I've never had this. So now I'm going to try Ale 8 ginger ale cherry. Oh man, that's good. It's like I took. It is like I took sugar water and Santa dipped his balls in it before he climbed up the chimney. Man, that's good.
That's good
stuff.
Is that your first time having a cherry Ale 8?
That is correct.
You popped your Ale 8 cherry open today?
Oh, I thought about that.
The drink.
I thought that was too sexual.
No. What? Oh, Adam, grow up. Talking about genitals. Adam, this might be our de facto tipsy episode. Happy New Year, everybody. Got some wine. This is cranberry apple wine.
If you don't drink that whole bottle, I'm going to be very upset. You've got about an hour and a half, 2 hours.
I think my wife wanted to try it, but you get one glass deep, and then it's suddenly you're 3 glasses deep.
The fact you're even pouring it in a glass tells me what a Nancy you are.
It's to let it aerate.
That's bullcrap. You should be sucking it down.
Here's the way these wine bottles work. I think the glass, it doesn't look like it. I think the glass holds more than the wine bottle.
It is. I always thought that was very odd. You're like, oh, you only had 2 glasses of wine, but that's like over a half a bottle.
I'm going to admit, I'm not a wine connoisseur. I bought the girliest, fruit, juiciest looking wine that was there. And this is it. And it's actually, it tastes like a sour Skittle if they made a cranberry Skittle.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, but man, it's tart. It's very tart.
Dude, send me a bottle. Oh.
If you enter our Play PS5 podcast contest, Adam.
Okay, will do. speaking of that, we are going to jump into our Powerade play of the week, and it is Borderlands 3. Because Alex, I have to thank you for this one. I did not know that the physical version of Borderlands 3 is getting a PS5 update. And that is incredible. I could not find one, but Alex, you are so gracious. You are so kind. As a Christmas present to me, you purchased it for me,
Yep.
sent it to me, started a couple days ago. So if you have Borderlands 3 or you want to play some multiplayer, if you like the series, it is only the physical edition. Is
Is
that
that
correct,
true?
Alex?
I didn't hear anything about it being only the physical edition. Where'd you hear that?
I thought you told me that.
I
So
don't think I
that's
did.
why.
No, only the physical version was as cheap as it was.
Oh,
I think if you
okay.
have the digital version, you can get the upgrade. I would hope so, because it seems silly to block off that. But
I feel like I even asked you in our text, why is it only the physical edition? I don't remember your response, but
I
okay,
think,
well,
yeah, okay. So here's
whatever.
the deal. Here's the deal. Much like what happened here, and this is rumors and theories, but I think they're a bit founded. Much like what happened with No Man's Sky, when like the VR update and all the stuff, like the big update drop that improved a ton of things, not just VR. You could go to GameStop and you could get No Man's Sky for like $5 or whatever. I got like 3 copies and gave them away in the podcast. People thought I was great as $5. Because they dropped that big update, they clear out the old copies and then they bring in the new copies, which are the same game, and they start charging $30-$40 for them again. I have a feeling the same thing is happening with Borderlands 3. I think what you're going to see is these are starting to get more scarce. They're starting to get more difficult to find on the shelves, because I bet Gearbox is trying to push those out. GameStop is pushing those out, getting rid of them as cheap as possible so they can come in with these PlayStation 5 branded versions of Borderlands 3 and start charging $35-$40 again. So that leads me to believe that there's a substantial upgrade, not just the upgrade we currently have, but I was told by somebody, nothing super official, that they're anticipating like a ray tracing upgrade for Borderlands 3 or some kind of upgrade coming through that's going to be making Borderlands 3 even more fancy on the PlayStation 5, fancier than it already is. So that prompted me to go out, and I think right now you go to a GameStop, if they have one nearby, used it's like $7. New it's like $9, and they had some buy two get one free sales, so you could really get one, but they were getting snatched up fast. I just happened to be lucky and go to a store where nobody bought them, and they had like 7 copies. So I was handing them out to friends left and right.
Were you? Is it my auntie? Is my auntie the one who's telling you about the ray tracing potential?
Yeah, who's that guy that works for Gearbox? Randy something. She slept with him, and I think right in the throes of passion, he went ray tracing on Borderlands 3.
Oh, that is fantastic! I didn't see that one coming.
And your auntie, your auntie is known to take notes during those things, so she immediately just busted out the notebook mid-sesh and started writing down ray tracing update Borderlands.
Dude, she's like
3.
a sleeping bag. She just lays there.
Yeah, she's very effective.
Yeah, for sure. So the thing about Borderlands 3 is I have played maybe 2.5 hours or so, and my impressions for, obviously I don't have a PS4. I've never played this game before. I've never played any of the games, don't know anything about it. So I can't really compare exactly PS4 to PS5. But what I can tell you is I played with a friend on the PS4. He was on the PS4, I was on the PS5.
Which is cool right off the bat. That's very cool that you could do that. But
yeah. The cool thing about it is during gameplay, he has a he just has a PS4. He doesn't have a PS4 Pro. So while we were in the midst of battle, he was talking to me how there was some lag on his side. And then when you finish a level and you're transported and there's a little bit of a load screen or something, he was seemingly light years slower than I was. I was dead serious. I mean, there's no real way to quantify this, unfortunately, but I don't know when his game is loaded. You know, I'm loaded up, and so I head out. It tells you where to go, so I can just haul butt and start fighting people. I mean, I'm a considerable way down the corridor, down the valley, already fighting people when his finally loads up. So mine was, I'm going to say 30 seconds faster than his was, which obviously as a PS5 owner, that is what you want to hear, that your game not only is optimized better, I had no lag whatsoever. Game looked great, loaded way faster than the PS4. And that's one reason why you spent your $500 and got a PS5 rather than sitting on the PS4. So that to me is good just for that nature. So Alex, I think we're pretty set. The game looks very good. You've played some of this as well, right?
Yeah, so I played it when it launched. I played it on Stadia of all things, because I thought that was the way I could get the fastest load times, and it was true. The game had a really troubled launch on the PlayStation 4, so I avoided that as well. I played through a decent chunk of the game, but I've played all of the Borderlands games more in some capacity. I don't think I've beaten any of them except for maybe the first one and the story-based Tales from the Borderlands. So yeah, I have experience with these. This one feels. I don't recall how it felt on Stadia. I can play it and compare. This one looks very sharp on the PlayStation 5. You have the options to do performance mode, or like, not, it's not called fidelity, but it's something like graphical resolution mode or whatever. So you can adjust those things and see if you want the high frame rate or if you want the high resolution. Now I'm stuck in this mode where I have to do everything at the highest frame rate possible, or else it looks too clunky. I think Demon Souls for doing that to me. Once I notice the difference between a 30 frames per second and 60 frames per second, I'm locked in. If it's not 60, then I become one of those horrible gamer nerds. It's like, oh, 30 frames per second. Ugh. I become one of those guys. Now I'm stuck with it. That said, it's fast and it's fluid, and the draw distance is far, which a game like this has this big environments. You want that draw distance because you want to be able to pick enemies off from far away. You don't want to get surprised with pop in. Yeah, and when I first saw it load up on PlayStation 5, my thought was, wow, this looks better than I remember it looking. As I'm playing it further, I'm not as awestruck, and I'm starting to what I expected to see and what I am seeing are starting to meet a little bit, or what I remember seeing and what I am seeing are starting to meet a little bit. But it's certainly no distractions from the graphic side. So I'm not seeing a lot of frame rate skipping and any kind of screen tearing, any weird stuff like that. And like you said, the load times, which if you haven't played a Borderlands game before, you don't notice this, but the games can hitch all the time when you're moving through menus. That sucks. That's one thing that happened on Stadia a lot. The games will hitch a lot as you slide through menus because it's trying to load stuff quickly. When you are fast traveling, it takes forever. When you're like trying to pull a car in from the catch a ride, that's like a half second to 1 second delay that just kind of like that breaks the experience. It's like none of that stuff is there, at least from what I've seen so far playing the PS5 version, which is so nice. It almost has me wondering, like, do I need next generation graphics, or do I just need last generation gameplay with all the roughness smoothed out of it? And that's kind of what we're getting here. So yeah, so I don't even know if you asked me a question, Adam. That's just my quick breakdown of it.
Yeah, I everything you're seeing there, I didn't know there were long load times or lagging issues with it. I would have had no idea. Seriously, the game has run buttery smooth. I haven't seen an ounce of lag. Even the load screens that are there, they're very minimal and they're short. Like they're not even there's enough to see if okay, do I have a notification on my phone? That's about it.
Yeah.
So I'm thrilled with the performance, especially now knowing that it did have some potential performance issues and lags.
You used to watch that claptrap dude dance across the screen for a long time. Now he makes it across the screen like once and you're done.
Nice. Perfect. One thing I will say, so obviously I haven't played the first or the second game, but I don't know. The plot is horrible. I don't understand. There's a lot they do just awful in terms of the plot. I think the gameplay, the actual shooting, like I said, I'm only about 2.5 hours in. It's pretty fun. Although I'm surprised how difficult it is. It's not like overly difficult, but I feel like I was expecting just this hack and slash. You go in there, you shoot everything up, kind of mindlessly shoot people. Even from what I can gather, like obviously there's upgrades and things, but it doesn't even look like there's a whole lot of tactics. Or I was going like at one point when there was a big battle, I tried to like crouch and cover and play smart, and have strategy, and that didn't seem to really do anything. Actually, it made it much harder rather than just going out there and shooting people. So I'm surprised that's that difficult when there's not really any strategy that I could find now. And just every time there's someone trying to further the plot, I hate it. The thing is, if I guess maybe since you played the first two games, you knew the characters and their voices. I don't. So to play the game and someone start talking, I have to read the subtitles and who is saying it. And even then, their names are like Tanner and Telius and Teelan. They're all so close. Give them different effing names. Yeah, I don't know. That
So
sucks. And the plot is god awful. Ignore the plot. Play the game. The gameplay is actually pretty fun. That's what I've gotten so far in 2.5 hours.
So there's a couple of things with the writing in this game and the story in this game. First is, you're jumping into the Borderlands 3, not having played 1 or 2, notwithstanding the fact that there's a Borderlands 1, a Borderlands 2, a Borderlands pre-sequel, and a Tales from the Borderlands game. Like 4 games leading up to this with story developments that are relatively significant to flesh out the story a bit. The crux of it is that there's like these alien planets and there's something called the Vault, and you open the Vault and it gives you all this amazing power or loot. It's kind of mysterious what's in there. Spoiler warning, in Borderlands 1, you make it to a vault and you open it. I won't really say what happens because maybe you're interested in that. So the thing about Borderlands, especially that they try to do with their characters, is that the characters kind of daisy chain from the prior game. So in Borderlands 1, who are these characters? Whatever. They have different characters. You can play as them and you go through and they play differently a little bit and then you're done and you're done. The carryover characters are like Claptrap, and then there's a like spirit woman who talks to you. I forget her name. And then there is that guy, Marcus, who runs the vending machines. And there was the guy who ran the cars, and he's no longer with us in Borderlands 3, which they kind of mentioned. But then in Borderlands 2, you are a new set of character classes. The character classes have changed a bit, and so you're these new characters, and you run into the characters from the first game. It's like, I go fight through the space, and look at this guy. The guy shows up and saves me. So there's a bit of the fun of the story is running into these characters that you played as in the previous game. And that even holds for like Tales of the Borderland, which is just like a story-based game, kind of like Until Dawn, where you're just making decisions and walking through a story. The joy, the pleasure that I get out of the story is not the plot. I don't care about what we're trying to really do. What I do care about is going through a certain amount of the game, and then I see Vaughn, who's a really early character. You see the guy running around in tidy whities. He's a character. Yeah, he doesn't shut up. He's really ripped or something like that. He's a character that's in the Tales from the Borderlands from the beginning to the end, and you really grow to enjoy his presence. And it's nice to land and see how he's ended up after that game. So things like that. I've heard that Borderlands 3 is the weakest writing of the series. I've heard that Borderlands 2 is the peak. Adam, Borderlands 2 on PSVR is excellent. You maybe should look into playing that if you enjoy this kind of stuff. So that's my breakdown of the writing. Aside from the writing, when you're talking about the game and the strategy, there is a desire to play this game like run and gun, like Doom or something like that. But I do think it warrants remembering that it is an RPG. You are upgrading skills. You have levels. Enemies have levels. And so just playing the game strategically with like hiding behind cover and shooting guys in the head isn't going to get you everywhere when you're trying to shoot level 10 guys in the head when you're only level 6 or your weapon is only level 6. So the strategy in the game is being able to balance things like what grenade mods do you have, what shield mods do you have, and what class specific skills do you have. That's one thing that I didn't do a lot of when I last played the game. I didn't use my special abilities enough. And that really hurts you because you get to a point very quickly where you run into a room. There's a bunch of guys who have shields up and you can't break their shields because you just don't happen to have an electric weapon handy. And so you got to use one of your class skills to try to solve that problem, whether it be, I'm playing as Mose. I can jump into this giant mech and launch grenades and use a minigun. I don't know which character you're playing as, but maybe you're the Beastmaster, so you can summon a beast who can do that. That guy's great. Or you're the stealth guy, or you're the girl who summons spirit arms or something like that. So, I mean, there's a lot of different things you can do in the game beyond just shooting, and you got to make sure you do those. So that's where the strategy comes in. Then there's also like, oh, they have armor, corrosion. Acid works well on armor. These guys have shields. Electricity works well on shields, or just explosions in general. Just kind of add a little punch to your damage, or incendiary works on organic creatures. So a little bit of that Pokemon rock, paper, scissors stuff there. So when we play together, Adam, I will teach you the ways of the Borderlands.
Okay, the one I'm not interested in that you suck. When I did play multiplayer, I have played it. It is very easy, it's very intuitive, and everything works seamlessly from the PS5, so that's good.
Yeah.
Final thing is that Alex, because he again is just so gracious. He just call him Saint effing Nick. He has a Borderlands 3 to give away to one of you lucky listeners. That's right. He's holding it in his hand. And here's what we want you to do. We just simply want you to share what your gaming New Year's resolution is for 2021. You have 3 methods of contact. One, on Twitter, we are PlayPS5 the pod. We've got our YouTube channel, PlayPS5. Just comment, boom, you're entered. And we also have our email, contact@playps5podcast.com. Any of those, just let us know what your resolution is. Drop us a line, have a little convo. You don't have to have a convo with us, but we would like it. And then you're entered. We will give that away probably next week, and we'll probably do it live. We'll do it live. So, Alex, now I want to segue that into what Sony's New Year's resolution should be, because I think this is interesting. There's so much untapped potential yet by the PS5, and I want to know what are some of the things you think Sony could do with this new console or in general to have a successful 2021, both from a business standpoint and as us as consumers, that we would want to see that would make us happy and want to give Sony our money.
Yeah. So do you mean Sony or do you mean PlayStation 5? Because my answers are a bit varied there.
Well, I guess PlayStation.
PlayStation 5. Well, because I say that because Sony's releasing some games on PC like Death Stranding and Horizon Zero Dawn. And I think that's good for them to do because it has developers push the boundaries on what graphics can do. It kind of forces them to take old games and beef them up a bit, which then would pay dividends on the PlayStation 5 with the better hardware. So that's something I think Sony should do. For the PlayStation 5, we need to lock in some exclusives. We need, Microsoft has gone on a rampage of acquisitions for the Xbox. And oddly enough, they don't really have the greatest launch lineup, but they have Game Pass, so they have a bajillion games you can play. But there's nothing standing out as like, oh, that's what I got to play. We were so lucky with the PlayStation 5. We got Miles Morales and Spider-Man Remastered. That's great. Great initial start to the PlayStation 5 launch. A great exclusive. But really, there's like only one PlayStation 5 exclusive game, and that was Demon's Souls. And it's brilliant. It's one of the greatest games of all time. We're so lucky we have that. But moving forward, there's nothing like that. I can't think of any other, off the top of my head, any other PlayStation 5. That's it. PlayStation 5 games that have come out for the PlayStation 5. There's games that are better on PlayStation 5. Cool, whatever. But I can't think, aside from the Demon's Souls remake, I can't think of anything that's just like, that's PlayStation 5, and you either play it on there or you're not going to play it. We need those games now. And I know it's in the queue. I know we have like God of War sequel coming in. We got Horizon Zero Dawn sequel coming in. But we got a lot of games coming in the queue as well that are just like, oh, it's coming on PlayStation 4 as well. You're going to have more frame rates, better frame rate on the PlayStation 5, which is great. Cool. I love it. PlayStation 4 is a great console. Better frame rates are good. But I want it taken to the next level. I don't want to be, I don't want the PlayStation 5 to be stuck in this PlayStation 4.5 position, which is what it currently seems like it is. So that's my resolution: is solid PlayStation 5 exclusives. PlayStation 4, be damned.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you there. I know that PlayStation has to walk a fine line because, one, the stock for the PS5 hasn't quite been there. So there's a lot of people who want one that they just haven't been able to get. So you can't go away from the PS4 too early because then you upset millions of people. But I think we're starting to get to the point. I heard that there is a third shipment of PS5s that's really large. It's coming soon. I heard that the scalpers are kind of winding down, or they're losing some of that luster to pick up some of these consoles. And so at some point, I think relatively soon, at least in the second half of 2021, you really need to start being like, okay, PS4 is old. You have to give people a reason to buy a PS5. And the reason that's going to be are these games that you can play on the PS5, you can't anymore on the PS4. So I agree with that. Also, I think just in general, more PS5 games, even the ones that I think the upgrades with the PS4 games to PS5, those are okay, but I would like more games in general. Like right now, we had a good launch and we just haven't had many games in general. Like typically on the podcast, we have a segment where we go through the sales, we go through the new releases, and we've looked. There aren't really any games. Like even the small third-party developers, like we just need more games in general. That's another of mine. Those kind of go hand in hand. So the first are more PS5 games, and then cherry on top would be the fact that there's a lot of PS5 exclusives. Anything else that you think is a good resolution that PlayStation should have?
Yeah, I have one more resolution, but I went on Wikipedia and I got a list of the PlayStation 5 only games, like games that are only on PS5. We have, I'll only read the ones that are out and ready to play. We have Astro's Playroom and Demon Souls.
Yeah.
The other ones on the list, Destruction All Stars coming in February. Not really a system seller. Final Fantasy 16, I'm sure we're going to see that as like a timed exclusivity. You know, you're going to see it on Xbox at some point. They just got a big deal with Square, Microsoft did. Gran Turismo 7, God knows when that's going to release. That's going to take them 8 years to get out. Returnal, thank God. Thank God. That's the game I'm most hyped for. I'm so glad it's only a PS5 game. I love the developers Housemark. They do great stuff. So I'm really looking forward to this game. I'm going to get myself burnt with the hype that I'm throwing at this game. And Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, which is going to be great, but that I feel like that game should have been a launch title, and now we're not seeing anything, and it's kind of got me spooked.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, those are the ones that I kind of remembered. Yeah, they're the only ones.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's also a thing to where maybe consoles don't have as many exclusives in general, too. They're all kind of just sharing. But still, it would be very nice to have some that, I mean, I don't know. I guess for us, just as consumers, you take the competition of consoles and video game companies out of it. As long as we get to play them, I guess that's really what matters. But I don't know. There's just something about it that's nice to know this is, and I guess this isn't our resolution. This is Sony's and PlayStation's. They should want them because that's how you're going to get new people to come and buy your console.
Yeah, at some point it becomes why do I have this console? Why did I get this console? And if it's just to play PlayStation 4 games, that's not $500 worth. That should have just been like, give me something I can plug into my PlayStation 4 to let me do a little bit more. My other resolution that I had, and thinking about it, it kind of ties into more exclusive games, is DualSense maximization. We spent so much of the buildup with the PlayStation 5 talking about how great the DualSense is. One of the two launch titles is dedicated to showcasing the DualSense, Astro's Playroom. And if we are not making games exclusive to the PlayStation 5, then we're not really maximizing the DualSense. I mean, it's cool. You play Borderlands and you feel a little bit of a tick in the trigger whenever you pull the trigger and shoot the gun. I've heard some interesting things are coming with are in No Man's Sky. Like, the trigger gets harder to pull as your gun overheats. Great, awesome. But there's nothing happening that's like, you can't do this on another console. Like Astro's Playroom, there's a lot happening where it's like, you can't do this except for the PlayStation 5. I want that, man. I want to play games with the DualSense and just think like, well, damn it. If you're not going to play it on the DualSense and PlayStation 5, you're not going to get to feel what I'm feeling, man. And what I'm feeling is important, and I'm feeling good.
Yeah, I again completely agree. I really think the DualSense is the thing that they have over Nintendo and Xbox that is just unequivocally better. There is no way that you can argue that an Xbox controller is better than the DualSense. Those little, at least like the Switch remote, they have like a little, what's that word? I can't think of the word.
They have the HD Rumble.
I mean, it's not even that, but they have like something small something that's niche. That's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
hey, no one is doing this. Now, is their little thing better than the DualSense? No, of course not even close. But at least they've got something. Xbox easily has the worst controller. Still runs on friggin' batteries, for God's sake. DualSense is without a doubt the best and the most. It separates them from everything else. Everyone else has a console. Everyone's gonna have a console, but that controller is unique, and for them not to utilize that in the best way possible, I think is pretty foolish. And hopefully they do that. And the final thing I want to mention is the PSVR 2, baby. I understand that at launch, the most important thing is the success of the PS5. That is without a doubt what needs to be priority number one. We are now have had a successful launch. We've been a couple months out. And I think at this point, they should show us or just mention that they haven't forgotten about virtual reality. I know there's what 2 million people playing PSVR, nothing insane, but the people who have it love it and they are passionate about it. And I think even if they give a rough timetable, just say we're working on an updated headset, we will have more information at the end of 2021. Something like you don't have to have hard specs. You don't need to have promo shots or anything like that. But
Just throw us a bone.
exactly, we need to know that it's not being forgotten. Like what was it, the Vita? They came out with, everyone loved it, and then they just like ignored it. We want to be
Yeah.
sure it's not like that. So just throw us a bone, mention it. I mean, the more I mean, I don't know. It would be great if it came out before 2021, but right now we have no idea. We know nothing. We see patents, but they have patents all the time that don't come to fruition. So
Yeah.
we have no idea what's going on. And obviously, as two PSVR biased people, we would be absolutely beside ourselves if we heard some info and they had a major upgrade.
Yeah, we might jumpstart the other podcast if that happened. I mean, what you say though, like PSVR 2, that's something that you could not do on the Xbox One. You could not play VR on the Xbox One. So if they made it to where we could play PSVR 2 on the PlayStation 5, and it has this amazing DualSense controller technology or some kind of DualSense move controller type technology, that would be amazing. I would settle for just DualSense, you know? I would settle for the controller and the haptic feedback triggers and, you know, eschew the motion controls for a little bit for a PSVR 2. Like you're taking the two things that you can only do on the PS5 and putting them together. So I would love to have something. In 2021, I think that's the thing. We want to hear more about PSVR 2. We understand the PS5 is beefy. We understand what the DualSense does. We got one last big fat nasty question mark we need resolved, and that's up to Sony to resolve it.
I can't have this now because it's too lengthy of a conversation, but to think of how much enhanced the PSVR could be with the PS5 and with that controller, it is disgusting. I mean, my mind is going a mile a minute. It's so fast. I cannot think about,
it's the hardest you've thought in weeks, Adam.
It's maybe months. It's the hardest I've thought in the entire year. Okay. Final thing in segment one I want to talk about. A couple very quick things. First thing, we talked about Heroes of Hammerwatch, I don't know, a few weeks ago. I just want to give them a shout out. So it has turned into my game where I just took my bike, put an indoor trainer on it. I bike in front of my TV, and it is my go-to game to play as I bike. So I bike for an hour and I play that game. I get one good run in. It is a fun game just to sit there. I don't have to try too hard. It's rather mind numbing, but to exercise on a bike, it is a good distraction. I'm really enjoying it. Still haven't beaten it. I don't even think I'm close. Oh, I have no idea how long that's going to take, but good game. If it's not PS5 optimized, but if you like roguelikes, PS4 or PS5, either one of them, play the game. It's worth it.
What if you had to equate it with a food? What food would it be? I'm thinking either Doritos or French fries.
I don't even know in what way you're coming about this.
It's like comfort food. It's like comfort food. just something you're always, if you went to a friend's house and you were a little bit like peckish, you go into their pantry and you see that sitting there, you're like, yes, this is it.
Huh.
I'm
That
hung.
is,
Maybe I'm just too hungry to be having this conversation. All right,
yeah, I
move
don't
on
know.
to Nier.
Okay. So Nier Automata is a game that I have started. It's been a game I've kind of wanted to play because after playing Kingdom Hearts and loving it, I always heard Nier has a similar tone. It's got really good music. It's got a good plot. It's a little like you don't really know what's going on. I've just heard it's always a good game. And I finally, because we had this time with there's no PS5 games, I started it. I don't know, several hours into it, but I just wanted to tell you, Alex, and for the listeners, if that has been a game you're interested in, definitely worth it. I'm not going to go through a whole review through of this. I'm just going to say it's the most Japanese game I've ever played. It's got really ripped white guys that have no crotch, and there's robots, and there's people say oddly sexual things and
Mm-hmm.
move in sexual ways, but it's not sexual. It just looks it. I don't know why I'm losing my voice.
Getting all
2020
worked up talking about 2B.
to be her butt. I haven't seen her butt yet. That's BS. Anyhow, let's see. The combat is really fun. It's engaging. A lot of the stuff you can make manual, or I guess rather automatic or manual. And if it's automatic, it's a little more of a just a button masher almost type thing, but it's really fun. And the modes in which you would think like, oh, it's just hack and slash, it's a button masher, but the way they vary it with each of the enemies is it's very good. I am thoroughly enjoying it. Do you have any questions, Alex? Because I know you played the first one, and I don't want to just ramble on about this game because, like I said, I'm not reviewing it. I just wanted to let everyone know I am enjoying it. It is very good. I am open up for questions.
I don't have huge questions. I need to play this game. Here's the thing. I freaking love Nier, the first one. They call it Nier Replicant. They're doing a kind of a reboot of it for the PlayStation 4, which they were putting it on the PlayStation 5 officially. Um, I love it. I love everything about it. I love the story. I love the
Is
music.
it the same characters?
No, some of them. Is there a character in Automata called Emil, or like some guy that's got like a smiley face, big stone smiley face head?
There's a lot of weird people.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
And
if what I said didn't stick out, then no, you wouldn't know what I'm talking about.
okay.
I don't want to talk too much because I might spoil things for you. But for the first Nier, the music was impeccable. That's what initially got me into the game, and then the story was even better. The only thing lacking in the game was that the combat was kind of like meh. And then Platinum Games, a development studio whose forte is impeccable combat mechanics, like the best combat mechanics ever, teamed up with the group behind Nier to make Nier Automata. I'm an idiot for not having already played this game 20 times over. So it's basically the one thing I didn't like about the first game. They got the best company to ever come in and fix it up and make it better. So I need to play it. That being said, there's just so many cool things about Nier. What you mentioned something about the things changing depending on the enemy. The first Nier had like a code name called Project Gestalt, which is like Gestalt shift, like completely changing the way you look at something. And the whole game, the premise of the game was every dungeon or world you go to changes the way you look at the game. And what was really beautiful about the game was you go to one dungeon and it's like a text-based choose your own adventure, and you go to another dungeon and it's like an isometric hack and slasher like Diablo, and you go to another dungeon and it's like a fixed camera Resident Evil survival horror game. And they did all of these things within the same one game, within the same engine, and it worked. And it was kind of clunky at times, and it kind of felt weird and floaty sometimes, but it worked, and it served the story, and it served the gameplay, and it was incredible. And everybody crapped on this game because of like one side mission that got like viral attention. But man, are they? I guess my question is: are they doing that in Nier Automata? Are you noticing that like suddenly the game feels like it's kind of like a top-down shooter like Galaga, or suddenly the game feels like just some other genre of game, like a text adventure or something like that?
They do so far a little bit of that. Mainly, it's how you are viewing the landscape of battle, and then they, I don't know, it's just very interesting. Another thing I noticed, one, like I guess Replicant, the music is incredible. I
Mhm.
have gone into areas simply just to listen to the music. It's so good. There is this amusement park that you visit. Oh my gosh. It is it is awesome. I don't know. And that's what I wanted. I love the reason I like Kingdom Hearts is the music. I hate music normally, but I guess these games just have something that gets me going. Love it. And then the game does not require, but there are a lot of side quests. And the thing that's confusing, and I think this is a whole different discussion, is that Horizon Zero Dawn, that was all side quests that were almost, I mean, you had to do them to get experience and to get good at the game. But I hated that. I hated Horizon Zero Dawn for that reason. But here, for some reason, I don't mind doing the side quests. It's very fast. You move very quick. Combat is very fast. I felt like maybe in Horizon Zero Dawn, everything is a slog. It's so slow. But here is just lightning fast. She runs fast. You can fast teleport. The combat, I mean, you're constantly running around. There's crap shooting. It's nuts. So I think the speed and the dynamic nature of the gameplay makes it a lot more fun than something that's a little slower like Horizon Zero Dawn. But overall, I mean, after I finish it, maybe I'll send it to you because you've got to play. It is real fun. My only issue would be that I don't know how long the game is, but I'm afraid you wouldn't be able to finish it. And I can't imagine playing a game like this and not finishing it. It almost seems like a waste to even start it at that point.
I think, the esteem that I hold near is up there with like the Demon Souls esteem. I'd find time to finish it. I'd make time in my life. I would sacrifice sleep to make sure I see the end of it. I'm very happy that you're enjoying it. I'm also very happy that you're specifically enjoying the music because I knew how much the Kingdom Hearts music meant to you, and I thought this was probably just going to be leagues better. My one last wish regarding you and Nier is that when the PlayStation 4 version of Nier Replicant comes out, you can get that and you can enjoy it, and we can just have a Nier podcast episode. Because goodness gracious, I might just go buy this tonight and just kind of jam through it.
Do
It's
you think do they have anything like together? Like by playing a second one, does that will that affect the me playing Replicant? Like do they go hand in hand or is it kind of totally different storylines?
I mean, I've never played the second one, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But the hype leading up to Nier Automata, the second one, made references to pretty big things in the first one. So there's some connection there, and I'm sure that if you dig deeper, and the things that I've heard that Nier Automata does are very similar to things that Nier Replicant did. Sorry, I'm burping up wine now.
Yeah, baby.
So I think that there is some connection there. I just haven't played Nier Automata, and I've kept my ears closed to the plot for obvious reasons. So I don't know. I don't see why you would. I don't see any reason why you'd come back to Nier Replicant and think that it's a different game or unrelated. It seems like it has to be related.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you don't have anything else to say, I'm gonna pause for a second to let you interrupt. Okay, no interruption. Yeah.
I'm done interrupting you. I want to quit talking with you and I want to go play some games. We got
Okay.
Borderlands 3
All right.
and we got Nier.
All right. Well, then this is it for segment one. Come see us after the break for segment two. We're going to talk about the launch window, some games that are upgraded to the PS5, and some upcoming games. And then we're going to draw the winner of our PlayStation Plus 1 year code. So be sure to stick around, listen to us after the break, and we will see you after a little bit of music that you'll enjoy to hear. All right, welcome to segment two of Play PS5, the podcast. My New Year's wine is done. So,
Dude, I cannot believe you downed. I was joking about drinking the whole bottle, yet you did
Listen,
it.
all right, that segment break, regardless of how long you listen to that music, that segment break was long as hell. So we're on to segment two. Right off the bat.
Also, I just right off the bat here too. I just want to say we're going to be millionaires after what we talked about in the segment break. I want you guys to write that down so that I don't know how long it's going to take us to make our money, but you can look back and be like, I saw this from conception. I saw the consensual sex and what that turned into, which is us being millionaires.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. This point in time is when the millionaire was made. Segment 2, Play PS5, the podcast. We're going to talk about launch window games that we missed. So when the Play PS5, the PS5 console was announced, there was a lot of games we were excited about that seem to have not come to fruition in the year 2020, and we have to look forward to in 2021. The notable one that got pushed back was Kena, Bridge of Spirits. That was my my replacement for something like Zelda. It was a game I was excited about, and it's not here anymore. That's a game that's been pushed back to March, I believe, maybe even later. Maybe it's just 2021. I don't know. Adam, is there anything missing from the launch lineup or the launch window, that arbitrary launch window, that you wish we could have seen in 2020?
I mean, my thing is some of these, like Dying Light 2 is a game I'm really looking forward to because although I haven't played the first game, I've seen the trailer, I've seen what the game is like, and it looks incredible. If it somehow comes out for virtual reality, that is, I mean, possibly the best VR game that we're going to have an option. But I didn't think it was going to come in 2020. The one game that I am surprised we didn't see, and I'm surprised we still haven't seen, is Ratchet and Clank. I would have bet my bottom dollar that was going to be a launch title, and it was going to be one of the biggest. I mean, it's fine. I'd rather it be a polished game, but that's the one game. Like, I'm not dying to play it, but it is the one game, the system seller, that I thought they would sell along with launch that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, I don't know what we're waiting for because Ratchet and Clank was like the showcase, right? It was the game that showed off what the PS5 could do with particle effects and with load times and jumping between worlds and universes and stuff. It was the exciting game from Insomniac Games.
So do you think this is more of the game isn't finished and needs polished, or more of a timing, like for some reason they thought, okay, this is a strong enough launch lineup, let's hold Ratchet and Clank a little later for some reason, and then there's going to be, I don't know, some strategy behind that?
I want to ride the fence and say a little bit of both. I'll just go ahead and fall on the line of it's not ready yet. Because all of the demonstrations we've seen of this game have been like the same levels over and over again. That, in addition to the fact that, they just released the Spider-Man game. This is Insomniac Games. They just released the Spider-Man games. So they must have been busy with that. Now they're fleshing out and finishing Ratchet and Clank. So that's why we didn't see it. It would have been crazy for Insomniac Games to release 2 games at launch for the PlayStation 5. So I'd imagine they're, adding content and doing what they can to flesh out this game, and it's just not finished yet. That's the side of the line I fall on. It's just not finished yet. I'd love to see it as soon as possible though, because Insomniac is great, and it's been a while since they made a Ratchet and Clank game, and so I would just like to see what they do with the PS5 and that technology. Yeah.
Another one, I didn't think Returnal was going to come in 2020, but it is one game that I'm definitely most looking forward to in 2021. It looks incredible. I know you're also a big fan. Every time I watch the teaser, I'm just like, oh, like we've seen gameplay. The gameplay looks incredible. The story, obviously, we know very little about it, but it looks exactly like some type of plot that's going to be mysterious, that's going to be engaging, that's going to have you guessing. That looks like a very early top 2021, game of the year potential there. So I hope, I don't know. Do you know when that's coming out? Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know if they did give us a date.
I think they've recently announced the launch date is March 19th, 2021. That was a game they showed off early on. That was in the PlayStation 5 showcase. Yeah, like you, I'm stupid hyped for this game. There's been rumblings that like maybe it shouldn't be worth the $69.99 or $59.99, whatever the new price point is for a new launch game or a new game at launch on PS5. But it is one of the few PS5 only games coming out, and it's being put out by Housemarque Studios, who, for whatever you want to say about them, the games they make always come out extremely polished. So it might not feel AAA, but the polish of the game is going to feel AAA.
Do you remember some of the games they've made?
Yeah, they made Alienation, they made Dead Nation, they made crap. What was that game that came out at the launch of the PS4 that people loved? Game with an R.
I
They
know
made
I've played a game of theirs and none of Resogun.
Resogun. That's it, Resogun. They made Nex Machina. Like, if you have actually played any of their games, you would feel the polish that they've applied to their games. It's like the gameplay is there. It is completely solid. And if you put time into any of their later games, like Alienation, you would understand that like this is a really good development studio that for some reason is just not getting their just desserts. So yeah, I'm extremely excited about this. It seems like they have backing to do like a big third-person shooter that's not locked in this isometric view and is not hindered graphically. I'm really excited to see what they have coming out for this.
For sure. Another one is Deathloop. What do you think about that game?
My biggest concern about Deathloop is that it's a Bethesda game, and Bethesda just got bought by Microsoft. That's a huge concern that I have, because now is it in their best interest to make it run well on the PS5? I mean, the game looks like it's really fun. The idea that you have all these assassins and you got to figure out how to kill them in one loop or something like that, that's really cool. I like the premise of it, and Bethesda makes pretty good games. I think this is Arcane Studios, maybe. They make really good games, so there's no reason to think this game's going to be bad. My primary concern is that it might be like minimally optimized for the PS5, or that any kind of expansion for DLC or something like that is going to be hindered by the fact that the company making this game is owned by Microsoft.
Yeah, I would imagine there's politics that have to go into it, and I could see that potentially being an obstacle, unfortunately. You mentioned Kena, that one's coming. Oddworld Soulstorm's a game that I don't really care about. I didn't think it looked that good. It looked confusing. I don't really want to play it, but they did show a lot of, I guess, trailers for this, and I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you basically said in backwards sense what I'm thinking is like I don't really want to play this game too much, but there's only 2 PlayStation 5 only games out now, and if I could add Oddworld Soulstorm as like the 3rd game, then I would certainly be investigating what this game was all about. Considering the fact that at the announcement of the PS5, they showcased this game relatively, heavily. I would think that it would have some more significant presence than it currently has. Since then, we've heard nothing about this game. And they've missed their window for people to latch onto it. If they wanted to wow us with graphics or wow us with some kind of mechanics of next generation, they're missing that boat every day that this game is not released. Because once any other game on this list, Returnal, Deathloop, Kena, Dying Light, Ratchet & Clank, once any one of those games comes out, they've missed that fraction of opportunity to be like, oh yeah, we were out at launch. We were one of those PS5 games you couldn't play anywhere else. So that's the main reason I've kind of added it to this group is they showcased it a bunch. There's not much reason to play it. And now we're losing reasons to play it the longer we have to wait for it.
Yeah, I think so too. It was, like I said, I wasn't interested in it, but like right now where there's no PS5 games, if it came out right now, I would consider it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any other PS5 games to play, but yeah, right. If it comes out in March when all these other games are coming out, there is no way in heck I'm even considering playing that game. And so, yeah, they potentially have missed some sales there, which is unfortunate, but I don't know. What are you going to do? Maybe the game's not ready. Maybe, who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't know what they're doing with this game. Maybe it's going to be great. I might look like an idiot a year from now when this game comes out and we're all talking about how it's the best game ever. Until then, I don't know what to say. Moving on, Adam, there was a lot of games, and Borderlands 3 being one of them, a lot of PlayStation 4 games that have had PlayStation 5 upgrades that have kind of filled in that gap of games that we don't have PS5 games, but now we can play these souped up PS4 games that maybe we didn't touch for whatever reason. We were just too busy. So I have a list here I want to kind of talk to you about. Right off the bat, Borderlands 3, we already discussed pretty much. It had issues on PS4. PS5, those are resolved and they're improved, and the game runs really well, so we can mark that off. The new game this month for PS Plus is Maneater. it got a PS5 upgrade, namely in terms of resolution and frame rate. Adam, I think you said you looked into it, but weren't too interested in playing this game.
Yeah, I saw that it was going to have PS5 upgrades, so I actually contacted them for a review code, and I did some research on it then. It I mean, it doesn't look like a bad game. It just doesn't look like a game that I would really be interested in. It seems to have a kind of a weird vibe to it because there are some parts of the game that looked, and this is with minimal research, of course, but that looked kind of silly, almost like Goat Simulator type of silly. Like
Mhm.
you're a shark and you're attacking things in the water, and there's humans, being bit in half and flying in the air as you jump up to bite them and stuff. And then there's other serious aspects of the game, and so I don't know, it's a little odd. It's free. It's PS5 upgraded because it's going to be free in, I guess, January, right? So it's going to be a game I'm going to play, but I just don't know how much I'm really going to enjoy it, or I don't know how much I'm going to be able to recommend it. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, I heard the PS4 optimization was pretty bad with frame rate breakdowns, and I've unfortunately heard that the PS5 version isn't that much better, which is like I don't know how that happens. That you can't run on the PS4, and then you still can't run on the PS5 when it's a whole generation's worth of machine in there. That being said, the premise is interesting. I used to play that Android game where you would eat things as a shark and you'd get new sharks and you'd level up as a shark. I played it with my daughter. It was really fun. This seems like a 3D version of that, so I might be interested in playing it. But it sounds like there's not much benefit to it being on PS5. So we'll see. Hey, it's free. We'll try it. It costs us nothing. Let's do it. Moving down the list, Neo 2. So I put this on the list because the Neo Remastered Collection was something that people were excited about. I was excited about. Neo is that kind of like, Soulsborne, Demon Souls, quote unquote knockoff that was made by Team Ninja. People really appreciated Team Neo or the Neo games, and they were well received. Neo 2, if you have it on the PS4, it gets a free upgrade for the PS5. So I guess that's like one half of the collection you're getting a free upgrade for. So be on the lookout for Neo 2 on PS4. You go ahead and buy it. You'll get the upgrade to PS5 when that upgrade comes out sometime early in 2021. I want to say it's February, but I don't have the exact date in front of me. Adam, you haven't played Demon Souls. You haven't played Dark Souls. You certainly haven't played Neo. This is not going to bite you in any way, is it?
Nope, could care less.
Couldn't care less. Moving on, No Man's Sky. They had a PS5 upgrade. Of course, resolution's going to look better. Frame rate's going to be better. But they also added some DualSense stuff. I mentioned it earlier in the podcast. But have you exhausted your interest in the No Man's Sky universe, Adam?
Initially I had, because I played, so I didn't play it in PS. I played it in PSVR. I didn't play it really in any flat that much. I like the concept of the game. There's some things about it I'm not thrilled about, like the fact that I know technically there is an end, but it's such a long game. There seemingly is no end. But the thing is, they just keep coming out with things for me to go back and do. I don't understand this company at all. The fact that there keep being DLCs, they're all free. Now PS5 is optimized and there's DualSense editions. I don't understand it, but because of that, I'm going to have to dive back in and try. I'm going to go to your base and I'm going to burn it down because that's how I do, baby.
Yeah, I don't know what economics degree their CEO has at Hello Games, but I don't know how they're making money off this. They've been busting their ass in this game much longer than most people spend on games.
Is PlayStation, are they paying them to do this? Maybe
that's the only way it would make sense is if Sony is paying for them to do this, but they're also upgrading the PC and the Xbox versions at the same time. I mean, it doesn't have adaptive triggers, but there's.
And then, yeah, why would PlayStation say, you know what, we want to go back to No Man's Sky and we'll pay you more to optimize it?
Why wouldn't you just say,
them?
Will you just please release this game as No Man's Sky 2? And that's how you get the upgrade, is people going to pay $30 again? I don't know. But, hey, kudos to them. They're doing right by the gamer. And it's, hey, a free, excellent, not a free. If you already own the game on PS4, it's a free upgrade, but it's an excellent game for the PS5 to try out. Moving on, Hitman 3 comes out January 20th. That's going to have some PS5 upgrades. It's a PS4 game. I bought it through the Target buy two, get one free deal on PS4 because it's going to have the PS5 upgrade for free, of course. It's also going to have the PSVR upgrade. Adam, you never played a Hitman game. I think there's some that you might have through PS Plus. Are you getting hyped about this? It's might be the next game that comes out that we can play on PS5.
Yeah, well, I'm excited for it because of the PSVR. I currently don't have a camera, but I'm gonna buy one before that. It is gonna be a game I'm gonna play on the PSVR, and I'm excited for it. I mean, it has a great, I guess, in theory, it is perfect for a virtual reality game. You've talked to me about what the games are like, and it seems very convincing. You put a good argument in why it is a borderline must play. And so, yeah, I'm going to play. I'm excited for it. I can't wait for it to come out here in about a few weeks.
Yeah. Down the list, we have Cyberpunk 2077 and The Witcher 3. These are both games that are made by CD Projekt Red. Cyberpunk, kind of has that infamous launch. Witcher 3 has that reverential status. We've been promised PS5 upgrades for both of these games, but we haven't really been given dates on when those are going to happen. I'd imagine they'd happen at similar times because the developers kind of know what they're working with then. I went out and purchased The Witcher 3 on the PS4, anticipating this upgrade. I purchased Cyberpunk 2077, regrettably at launch, anticipating the PS5 upgrade. So I'm hoping they hit at the same time so that neither of these purchases are made, redundant or silly or foolish. So I don't know. Cyberpunk has its own slew of problems independent of the generation. The Witcher 3 is a game that seems to have all of its things kind of ironed out, all of its problems ironed out. But, I would hate to play in the PS4 version if there's a PS5 version imminent. So I'm just going to wait for that upgrade to come out and get it before they try to up the price again. Adam, are you going to play either one of these games? Long form RPGs in the high fantasy setting or in the cyberpunk dystopian future?
I feel like Cyberpunk has lost me. Even when the PS5 version comes out, now I have Nier, now I have Borderlands. There was another game today you just pretty much convinced me to try. Replicant maybe? So there are other games now that I'm interested in. Once Hitman comes, surely once March comes, I just know I'm not interested. The Witcher 3 intrigues me a little bit because I know a couple people have played it and they absolutely love it and say it is just jam-packed full of content. But then I have to struggle with the fact, do I want to play a game that may take 50 hours to play, to complete, to get my money's worth? That's just a lot of time. It may be good. I'm sure it is good, but that's a lot to invest. And unlike you, Alex, when I play a game, I finish it, whether it kills me or not. So I'm definitely going to finish whatever game I start. And so that's why, I don't know. Those are definitely not high in a priority list.
All right. Well, last game on the list is Ghost of Tsushima. It's a game I bought when I bought Borderlands and The Witcher and all of those. That's a game. It's got amazing frame rate, 4K upres. It's one of the games that everybody says is like the PS4 game to be the PS5 launch game. Adam, they added multiplayer to this game in a free mode. Are you going to buy it and play with me? It's still like $40 if you want to buy it used or new. Is there any chance I can get you to hang out with me and play Samurai with me? Slash swords on the islands of Japan with me?
Well, we'll see how Borderlands goes. Most of the time, your gameplay style sucks and it's annoying because I end up having to revive you all the time, and you just put me at risk. And then we soul bond, and then when you do something else stupid and die, it means I immediately die. But I don't know. I would consider it. Again, the issue is I have 2 or 3 games going right now, and if we get more games, my time is going to run out fairly quickly. So, but if there is a time in which we have some downtime, there are no new games coming out, and I've caught up everything I've been playing, that would be one that I would definitely consider giving a shot.
I think the sooner you play it, the better, because pretty soon we're going to have PS5 games to compare it to. It's not going to look great. Now we have new and upcoming games. I already mentioned Hitman 3 comes out January 20th. We had a game that came out just before Christmas, Override 2 Super Mech League. The demo was free on the PlayStation Store. I downloaded it but haven't touched it. It looks like it reminds me of Virtual On, the footage that I've seen. I have not played it yet. Adam, have you ever played Virtual On, that robot fighting game?
Take a guess.
I guess not. I mean,
Correct.
maybe you surprise me, man. You're like Super Kingdom Hearts dude, but you haven't played Virtual On, the Dreamcast / arcade game of robots fighting in a 3D environment.
It sounds sexual.
It's not sexual. It's robots fighting, and that's what this game is. It looks like it's robots fighting. I don't know. I've never heard of Override 1. Super Mech League kind of implies what it is, though. So, yeah, I'm interested in playing this game a little bit, but it's probably doesn't have the depth. I think they have some kind of movie tie-in with Ultraman, so that kind of makes me think that it's going to be a cheaper experience. Maybe we can play online together. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not gonna buy it. If we get a review code for it, then I'll certainly play with you. If
it's already out, maybe we won't get a review code. I don't know. Maybe we'll reach out to him if we get nothing.
I mean, I guess I didn't know that was a PS5 game that came out.
It's PS4 and PS5, but if you go on the PlayStation Store and you click PS5, it pops up. So it's like, who knows?
Okay, I mean that one. Typically, I do contact these people and I look at new releases, and that one slipped by. Otherwise, I would have already asked them. Yeah, we'll give it a shot.
It flew under the radar.
Yeah. And the next thing I'm excited for, we didn't intentionally put this at the end of the show. Sorry, we're not that big of D-bags, but we are now going to do a random drawing for the individual who is going to win the year's membership of PlayStation Plus. So essentially what I've done here, I've taken all of our contestants, I have randomly named them or assigned them a number, and Alex is going to use a random number generator. That's, you hear all this clicking. You are a very loud clicker. And
Sorry.
Yeah, you suck. So I am going to, I guess, sit back, relax, let you randomly assign a number, and you can see the numbers on the screen here. And so you can, I guess, tell us who won. Another thing we want to do, and I wanted to spice this up because we haven't eaten a bean in a while, Alex. So we are also going to pick odds and evens on the number that is generated. And I have the Fiery 5 Bean Boozled beans. Alex got me these this week. He sent it with the Borderlands 3. He didn't buy himself one, the butthole, but they are hot. Obviously, they don't taste like garbage. They're just hot. Alex has the standard Bean Boozled Jelly Belly beans. And so, Alex, I want odds.
Yeah. Here's the deal. The list we have has one more odd person than it does even person. So, do you want odds as in the odds that you're going to win, or do you want odds as in you want, if the number is odd, you win?
The number is odd, I win.
Okay, we'll do that. That's fair.
Considering how about we do the middle? The middle person doesn't count. That's a draw.
You can take odd to kind of put me at the disadvantage. Yeah, I like that.
Okay, I'll take it. You know, I will take it.
I'll give it to you. All right. I'm going to randomly...
Seriously, I tried one of these hot beans and I thought I was going to die.
Yeah. All right. Are you ready to roll the dice?
Yeah, you roll. Oh, my, please. I don't care who wins. I just don't want to eat a bean.
All right.
That's really what I'm going on here.
I'm going to click in 3, 2, 1. The number is 4. So First, right off the bat, you eat a bean.
God, no!
And then second off the bat, corporate zombie.
Dang it, corporate zombie. Yes,
that guy is our winner of the PlayStation Plus code.
You suck.
We'll be reaching out to you for the
MFer. You D-bag. Stupid. Fine. Oh, I hate Alex. You are the biggest.
Randomly pick a flavor, Adam.
Okay,
and
I did.
I want you to show me what flavor it is. We all know it's going to be spicy.
The good news. Oh no! Wait. So it's either.
It looks muy caliente.
It's sriracha or habanero.
Okay. Well, how about you just eat it? How about you have an arrow?
Nope, it's habanero.
Okay.
It's going to be hot.
Midway through. Go ahead. Toss it
F
back.
me. I
Toss
may
it
not
back.
be able to finish. I may have to leave. Seriously, dude.
All right.
This
Toss
is
it
the
back.
second hottest. The last one was so hot. I got a granola bar here, or it's one of those cereal bars because you
Toss it
need
back.
something to soak up the heat. And
Nope. Toss it back. Get it in there.
okay, thanks, corporate zombie. You suck. oh, dude. Oh, it hurts. Oh no.
While Adam wrestles with his capsaicin taste buds, we're going to go through the mailbag. Turner3 replied to Adam's DualSense distance video with the comment, "We've hit peak of content. It's all downhill from here." Turner, I can't agree with you anymore than I already do. Yeah, this is about as good as it gets.
Oh,
You're
dude, this is
only going to
bad.
see this podcast and video series go down from here. Adam, do you have anything to drink?
I have like a third of a White Claw. Oh, I shouldn't have done it. Oh, I got down it.
I don't know if White Claw's going to help that much. Moving on.
No, it made it worse.
Every time you cough, it's going to hurt.
Guys, I'm sorry. I should have eaten a regular bean because at least then you can just suffer. This is heat. It's hard. It's hard to mask heat.
At DJing Gaming, he responded to my tweet. Does anyone else feel like they got a PS5 just to take the PS4 games to the max? At DJing Gaming said, I'm actually tempted on doing a new run through God of War and Days Gone, but at the moment, I've been playing only PS5 games, Astro's Playground, Miles Morales, and Demon's Souls, with a few multiplayer exceptions like Battlefront 2 and GTA. Yeah, it's nice to know that somebody's getting their fill of PS5 games. I kind of feel like I maxed out Astro's Playground. I finished Miles Morales. I don't want 100% it necessarily. Demon's Souls is something I can play forever. So, yeah, we're kind of in the same line. Unfortunately, those are like the 3 PS5 games you could be playing. I do need to play God of War. I haven't played it. I do need to finish Days Gone. I've not done a single run through of that. So, yeah. It feels like there's like the same 5 games that we're all playing at the same time. And it's just because there's not much else to play, unfortunately. Adam, how you doing, man?
Yeah, that cereal bar helped a lot.
You're acting you're like if you weren't listening to what happened, you would imagine somebody just proposed to you, just looking at the video footage, the way you're like fanning yourself down. Yeah.
No, this I learned from Hot Ones. It's a YouTube channel where they take famous people and make them eat disgustingly hot wings. I learned from Alton Brown that if you have something sweet, so you need something to neutralize it, like it could be like lime juice or milk, but then take something sweet and that cuts it. And so that's why I got the cereal bar. That helped a lot. Not only did it soak it up because it's bready, but the little bit of sweetness definitely helped.
I
can handle it. I can talk about the next one because
Okay.
I think I'm good. So Matthew mentioned this is perfectly kind. Happy holidays to you guys. This was in our last podcast before Christmas. And what brand of jelly beans do you use? So they are Jelly Bellies. And like we mentioned before today, we had always just done the Bean Boozled, the typical ones. They are real nasty. A barf is easily the worst. I strongly recommend them. And I think he even commented after this fact that he did get some, and I think it was his nieces he had a good time with. And today I just tried the Fiery 5 challenge, still Bean Boozled, but just a different type and different kind of branding of them. And that one, well, that wasn't horrible. I would rather eat that habanero than a barf.
What about the ghost pepper and a barf?
So I did the one, it was Carolina Reaper. Okay. And I ate one of those when he sent me the box because I was like, they can't be that bad. And that ruined me. I spit it out. I didn't actually eat it because I don't know what it would have done to my inside.
If we ever do one live, there's no spitting it out. If you spit it out, I'm closing the podcast. I'm shutting it down forever.
Well, the thing is, I'm just going to leave because it was so hot. I was by myself. You're inconsolable. It's so hot. And so I definitely wouldn't be able to talk. Like, it was so much worse than this habanero, which is the second worst one, according to this box. But it was just insane.
We need to set like a subscribers benchmark. And when we hit that number, we will release a video of us both eating one of those beans at the same time.
Yeah, that would be. I mean, the thing is, if I know I'm going to do it in advance, you can have milk. You can have. I think the perfect thing is a donut.
Well,
The
we'll just say
donut.
none of that. You got to suffer for
What?
5 minutes.
No,
Suffer
dude,
for
it's too
five.
hot. You can't do that.
Yeah, that's the
Okay,
point. That's the
okay.
point of the challenge. Anyways, moving on. Last comment from Natalie, longtime listener, our friend of the podcast, Natalie. She said, the response to Adam's Wendy's video, such an exciting video. The burger reveal at the end is amazing. This is Adam's video of testing the range of the DualSense. Adam, the burger reveal at the end was indeed amazing. Did you, what burger was that you ate at that Wendy's video you made?
I mean, I found it by the dumpster. I think it was a double stack.
Was there cheese on it?
Yeah, there was cheese. It was actually real good. It was real good. I felt really stupid doing the video because there isn't a Wendy's. I live in a city, so there isn't a Wendy's that wasn't busy. So I went on Saturday, actually, is when I did most of the filming, and I went to 3 different Wendy's and they were jam packed. There were lines out the friggin' wazoo in the drive-through, and the drive-throughs are right by the dumpsters. And I was like, okay, I can't do this because not only would I be blocking people, but then I would feel like an idiot, and I would have to sit in line for whatever. I bought the double stack. I didn't find it in the dumpster, obviously. So I went early Sunday morning, and even then there were still people in friggin' line. But anyhow, so I just did it. It felt real weird doing that in public, but whatever. It was pretty fun. Double stack was good. I ate a bit of paper too, so not too bad. I don't know if it's as good as your what to expect when you're expecting video, but it was fun to do. It was intriguing. If you didn't watch it, the range is about 140 to 160 feet that your DualSense can turn the PS5 on.
In the words of Matty Matt, it was pure science. It was science in its highest form.
It absolutely is. Are you surprised that, like, to you, is 140 feet? I had no expectations. Is that a lot to you?
That's a lot. That's very far for it to still work. Yeah.
I mean, I can't think, even if you had just a blank long room, I mean, you're so far away, you can't, even with a big TV, you can't see the TV.
I don't think you've seen how big my TV is, so I could certainly.
Okay. Maybe if you're in a movie theater, weirdo. Okay. I want to thank you for listening to Play PS5, the podcast. Congrats on Corporate Zombie for the PlayStation Plus. You still suck for being a evens and making me eat that bean, but I forgive you. And if you are still listening, remember to contact us for Borderlands 3. We got that Twitter, we got the email, we got YouTube. If you want that game, Alex will ship it to you. Maybe he'll even write a love letter in it. It's up to him, but trust me, you're going to want that. He's a beautiful poet. We love you. We love your auntie. Hopefully you kept those subtitles on. And here's a new resolution for you. Don't play with yourself. Play PS5.